The Institute for Priestly Formation, located in Omaha, Nebraska, in partnership with Spirit Catholic Radio, is pleased to present the Lenten Reflection Series, The Journey to Jerusalem. Join Father Mark Toups as he helps us walk with Jesus on his journey to Jerusalem.
Tuesday of the third week of Lent.
My friends, welcome back to the Journey to Jerusalem as we continue to anchor ourselves in this magnificent scene in Luke chapter 7 of the sinful woman who had a contrite heart and wept at the feet of Jesus. Today our scripture passage is Luke 7:42 as we read that they were unable to repay the debt. Now St. Paul was a great evangelist because St. Paul knew both the message of salvation as well as the hearts of those who needed salvation. In Romans 7:15, St. Paul writes, "What I do not understand. For I do not do what I want, but I do what I hate." Ever been there? Do you know what that feels like? Each of us longs for God. However, so many times, many of us simply don't live for Christ. Instead, we choose sin. We do the things we hate. St. Paul knew this inner confusion, and many of us, my brothers and sisters, know that same confusion. We know what we do not understand, for we do not do what we want, but we do what we hate. The Catechism of the Catholic Church in 1739 states it soberly as it says, "Man's freedom is limited and fallible. In fact, man failed. He freely sinned. By refusing God's plan of love, he deceived himself and became a slave to sin." End quote. We were enslaved to sin. You were enslaved to sin. Using the image that we had the first days of this journey to Jerusalem, you might say our tires were flat, and we could have never inflated those tires on our own. The great divorce of Genesis chapter 3 affected us all. We were enslaved to sin. Being enslaved is like being trapped. There's no way out. We can't do it alone. We have to be rescued. The woman of Luke chapter 7 was moved to weep at Jesus' feet because she was honest enough to admit that she could not save herself. She knew firsthand, left to her own will, she would simply continue to live her life enslaved to sin. So her contrition flows from her gratitude that she knows Jesus is the only one who can rescue her. That's why she pursues him. She wants his mercy. She longs to be rescued. Likewise, without Jesus Christ, life would really be about quote-unquote flat tires, empty, lost. It's sobering to consider that without Jesus Christ, life on earth would be it. No heaven, no salvation, nothing. This life would be all that there is. Without Jesus Christ, without Jerusalem, without the cross, resurrection, and ascension, without this journey to Jerusalem that you and I are on, our existence would be reduced to the empty, fleeting pleasure that this world, quote-unquote, offers us. And forever, we would be enslaved to sin. But Jesus Christ came to rescue her and me and you. This journey to Jerusalem is about rescuing the bride from enslavement. You cannot save yourself. Let me say that again. You, my brother or sister, cannot rescue yourself from sin. You cannot. You have to be rescued. But if you put yourself in a position to be found with this God who is tirelessly pursuing you, all you have to do is ask, God, I need to be rescued. Rescue me today. For your prayer today, I would simply ask you to consider, when's the last time you went to confession? Now, as a priest, as a father, let me just be honest with you, as a spiritual daughter and son, and say that many of us don't like to go to confession. I think a lot of reasons why people don't go to the sacrament of reconciliation is cloaked behind theological arguments. But let's be honest. If you push the scriptures all the way, the scriptures clearly illustrate that sacramental reconciliation with an ordained Catholic priest is necessary for true reconciliation with God and His church. I think a lot of us, if we really push the scriptures, will believe in that. But I think a lot of us don't go to confession because we're just afraid of our mess. Or perhaps some of us out there have been to confession and we've confessed almost everything, but there's one particular sin that we're just really ashamed of, and we just want to leave that in the past and in the dark. Here's the prayer for today. Just think and consider, what would your life look like if you were really free? You know, Lent makes sense when we allow God to rescue us from our sin. I want you to ask yourself if it's now is the time to make arrangements with a Catholic priest to go to confession. Maybe your church is hearing confessions on a regular basis, or maybe it would be more appropriate for you to make an appointment so you have some time to really put everything out there in the light. But I want to leave you with a question today. Are you ready to be free? Ask yourself, it's time to go to confession. In the meantime, I'll be praying for you. I encourage you to be praying for others who are on the journey to Jerusalem. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.
To listen to today's reflection again, or to order a copy of the Journey to Jerusalem booklet with the daily readings, the website is www.priestlyformation.org. Join Father Mark Toups during this Lenten season as he helps us walk with Jesus on his journey to Jerusalem.